Good morning, everybody. This is Vince with Listings to Leads, and now we're going to talk about top tools to get more listings. Okay. And before I kind of dive into those tools, I do want to say that we are a real estate advertising platform. We can help you get both listing leads and buyer leads, whether you have listings or whether you don't have listings. So you don't need listings to use Listings to Leads, right? You should just know that. If you're not a client, you can become a client. It's $60 a month. It's month to month. You can cancel anytime on your profile. And there's a lot to our system. I'm going to focus today on the tools that capture listing leads. So let's log in and kind of say very quickly, kind of where you want to be thinking of, right? And there's kind of two major areas I think you need to think of. One is the ad section of our system, and the other is our listing section. Okay, now we're going to dive into both of these in detail and look at the tools that actually generate listings. But it's in these two sections. If you want more listings, market listings. Even if you borrow listings, market listings. We're going to create tools to help you get more listings. And run ads. Okay, you can borrow listings and run ads as well. So even if you don't have your own listings, you can use these two tabs. All right. I think I'm going to kind of go over and show you something, because I did ask that question about where are you guys from, and if you can put it in the chat panel, let me know how long you've been with us. And if you wouldn't mind, here's a good question. How long have you been a realtor? And I'm going to actually show you something right now that we built last year in the fall. And it's something that I would look at, because when we're talking about the top ways of capturing listing leads, there's actually, I'm going to show you the ways, but I do want you to think about the quality of leads, right? Because, our clients are pretty excited that they can generate hundreds of leads every month. You may not be generating hundreds of leads every month, and you probably would be excited if you were. But all that being said, it's not until you convert those leads into business when you really start getting excited, right? And this calculator is like a pretty interesting little, modeler to let you know kind of what kind of leads. So if you're in a market, an average home sales price is $300,000, and you want to make $250,000, you need to generate 350 leads a month, right? But this little calculator says you're experienced. And so the way that our system works is, and you'll notice that the pie chart here is saying like almost 75% of these leads are coming from social media. And the thing about social media is it's an easy place to capture leads. But there are other areas like your farm, your database, and your seller sphere of influence. We have tools for all four of these sections, and we're going to talk about some of those tools right now. But these have they're actually, in almost every case, more valuable to you than the easy social media leads, okay? So if you're experienced, you'd have all four of these kind of pie charts available. But if you're a new agent, you won't really have a big database or home sellers to lean on, right, to build that network. So you're really going to focus on your farm and on social media, okay? So I just wanted you to look at it. That's actually listings2leads.com/calculator. And since it is the beginning of the year, you can actually kind of work on some projection of what kind of income you want to hit and what kind of leads you need to generate while converting at 1%, to sort of, ballpark some income. Thanks, Rob. Oh, you've been with us for 5 years. Wow. Well, thanks for hanging out with us and working with us. From Naples, yeah, that was one of our first markets. I remember I set up Keller Williams, Marco Island, and Keller Williams, Naples, 10 years ago, probably. It's funny how Florida just took off for us, and we've kind of grown all over the country since then, but thanks for putting that. So anyway, what I really want to point out is that there are four kind of areas: social media, your farm, your database, and the seller's sphere of influence that you really want to be focused on in 2022, okay? And when we look at listings to leads, I'm gonna tell you kind of what tools fit in those 4 pieces of the pie chart. But before we dive in, I want to remind you that if you're a client, you need to get in the listings to leads mastermind group. And if you're not in, the way to get in is to go down into your support page on the bottom left and click on that tab there and tell our support team right here, please add me to the mastermind group. They'll know what to do. If you go to Facebook and try to find it, it's a private group, so you can't actually see it. So you have to be invited in by our team and approved by our team. So go through the support page to get in, okay? And if you write anything down on this call, I would really recommend that you write down these 3 names. Not this one, but Chris Winstead. And we're talking about how to get listings. And this is the #1 tool. I'm going to go into detail, but I want you to check out this guy's name. I want you to check out Alicia Pless. Let me stop that. And I want you to check out Dustin Fox, okay? They all are going to use our #1 tool on this list. And they all have really great things that you can learn about, and they put it here in the mastermind group. So I definitely want you to look at that. But I'm going to pop up a question from Terry Coleman, I think, Terry Wicks Coleman, yeah. And she asked the group, who here gets 2 listings every month, strictly from listings to leads, right? And a bunch of our clients jump in, including Alicia Pless and Dustin Fox. But Dustin has a pretty awesome thing to say. He says, we average 2 listings from each marketed listing, all from L2L tools, with Facebook ads, mailers, and open houses. That's what he's doing, right? Trying to get that number to above 3 this year. And so what he is saying is to get 3 listings or 2, he markets his listings with our tools. I'm going to tell you one more thing about Dustin. Dustin is part of an office account, and I set up kind of national partnerships, and I set up office and team accounts across the country. So when I set up an office, I train the office. Just like I'm training you guys, I actually train our offices on like 101. But that office that Dustin's in has 300 agents, so I don't really even know who Dustin is. But Dustin hears a call like you're listening to today and starts using our tools. And the reason I'm telling you a story is pretty interesting. He actually has a recorded webinar with us in the group here that you can find somewhere. And that guy was a rookie agent when I sold their account 6 years ago, just south of it's in Virginia, just south of DC, Pearson Smith. And Dustin was a 2-year agent selling $5 million a year in production. And after 2 years of using our system, he went from 5 to 20 million. And so he got on this call with us because he's always in the mastermind group talking, and we're like, wow, it sounds like you're doing great. We'd love to have your input. And he said, sure. He said, the reason I want to do this call is because I went from 5 to 20 million in 2 years, and I was a rookie agent. And he said, 80% of my business is coming from your tool. So 80% of the 20 million is coming from listings to leads. And frankly, I was kind of flabbergasted and floored by that statement. And I asked him, how much time are you putting in listings to leads to go from 5 to 20 million? And he says 2 hours every week. And he says, I put my daughter in ballet and I go next door to Starbucks and I work for 2 hours in your system. And that's how I went from 5 to 20 in 2 years. So let's talk about what he is doing and what many of our clients are doing, because I do this call every 2 weeks, and everybody that uses these tools, they get more listings. And if you want more listings, you're in the right place. Now, you'll notice that you can market homes in multiple statuses, like just listed, open house, under contract, or sold. And no matter what, the tools I'm about to show you can be used at all those statuses. And frankly, people like Dustin use our tools the tools I'm about to show you, multiple times for each listing. Like they'll market the home as just listed. If they do an open house, they'll market it again as open house, and they'll market it again as sold. Now, I'm going to show you the tools that are created, and you'll kind of start to understand why. So I'm going to go to an open house, which is an early stage, and you should be running a Facebook ad, right? We can do it for you automatically. There's another call to talk about that, but you can just click this button and bam, it's going to run an ad to get you buyer leads on an open house. That's not listing leads, it's just buyer leads, but that's what you should do, right? But if you want more listings, you want to use this nearby homeowner letter. And this is available to you even if you borrow a listing, right? So you don't need listings to use this, but if you want listings, borrow a listing in a neighborhood where you want listings, and then print this and door knock it or mail it. And you'll see it says, hey, we've got an open house this weekend. Go here, take this physical piece of paper to your own computer and go there and find out about it, which we've got call to actions to capture them as buyer leads. But then it's going to say when this home sells, it's going to affect your home value. So take this same piece of paper and type this web address on your own computer and give us your address and contact information. And you know what? If you print up 100 of those letters and you go door knocking in the neighborhood that you're going to have an open house, you're not getting 100 leads back, right? If you mail it to 100 or 200 homes, you're not getting 200 leads back, because there's a small group of people that are going to open that letter and look at that letter and go, oh, there's a home for sale and I can get my home value, and I'm going to go to my computer and type that in. It is a small subset of people, but those people are interested in the value of their home. And so if you go to the Mastermind Group and you look up that name that I mentioned, Chris Winstead, you'll learn something, I think a very smart way of how to apply that letter. It's right here. He says, hey, I moved into San Antonio, nobody knows me, and I am using your letter and I got 5 listings in 3 months, which is a pretty strong statement, right? And, we asked him how he did it. And he said, I mail that letter every other week to neighbors who've owned their homes for 5 years or more. So he's getting a list of homeowners with equity. I think it was from Remine. And he says, once they opt in on the home value letter, meaning once they take out my piece of envelope and they open it up and once they type that in and fill this thing out, well, then I hit them up every week with phone calls, bomb messages, letters via mail, and letters left at the doors, right? Now, I am not sugarcoating it here. That is real work. This gentleman here moved into San Antonio, Texas, probably about 3 months before he did this. He had no name recognition in San Antonio and just moved there with his family to be closer to her family, kids and all that story. But he has a license and he signs up and he starts borrowing listings, and this is what he's doing. That's a really simple recipe for how to do that and how to apply it. Now, the reason why I asked you to write down the name Alicia Pless, if I can spell it right, is that Alicia also would come in here and show us all the envelopes that she was mailing. It basically says every time I mail this out, and she had learned something that I said, and I'm going to tell you now. If your mail looks like junk mail and it doesn't look personal, it just gets thrown away. So she took an extra effort to actually, get some unique envelopes, and that's a smart thing to do, right? Dustin Fox, the guy that I mentioned down in Virginia, he mailed it in a black envelope, first class, because he figures I mail it first class, people won't throw it away. And then he puts in that same letter in a little one-page calendar and mails it to 250 homes for $625, but he pulls 10 listings with the average commission of $17,000. So he says, yeah, that's our highest ROI, is that neighborhood flyer, right? We create that neighborhood flyer for free. All you got to do is download it and use it. Now, all the 3 people that I've shown you, they're physically downloading it just like I did, and they're figuring out how to get it out there. One thing I want you to watch for is in the mastermind group, you're going to find that this is where Scott and I talk about what's new, what's happening. And let me tell you about what's going to be happening that I know we're working on right now. Is right now you got to download that and you got to find the list and you got to go, get your envelopes and stuff them. But we're working with a company I think called Express Copy. Right now we have their API and we are working on automating this so that you can say, I want 100 or 200 pieces to go out to people with equity in this zip code. And you'll be able to do it right from this page. You won't need to download it or go get your separate list and go stuff it hand yourself. It's going to be done. I think that's going to be really exciting. And I think that would be something that I'd recommend that every one of our clients is utilizing. I see some questions, so let's kind of tackle those. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so the PDF you are showing on your screen, do you mail it? Only with it's with a 5-mail radius of the open house, or do you mass mail it to an entire zip code? This letter, if it's an open house, a lot of people will door knock this, like 100 to 200 pieces. A lot of people will mail it just in the close neighborhood, right? Like, because it really becomes relevant. But there are other ways you can get creative with it. Our clients definitely do. Where do you go to borrow those listings? So if you're gonna borrow a listing, you go to your listings page, and we're assuming that your office or somebody has told you, hey, yeah, go ahead and use my listing. When you go to the listings page, there's a green button here that says add listing. And when you click that, there's an option to grab a listing. And all you got to do here is drop in the zip code and MLS ID, turn that off so it says it's not your listing, so you don't make a YouTube, and grab it. And it'll pull that in, and all these tools will be created. It'll sit right here, and all these tools will be created. Okay. What system does Chris Winstead use to find sellers that have not moved in 5 years? Yeah, he uses Remine, R-E-Mine, like, data mine. So Remine is one, and there are a few other companies. You could talk to your lender or title partner, and they may have that. But really tying that to people with equity is a really smart thing to do. Otherwise, you're mailing the zip codes, and you're probably wasting a little time and money to do that, right? So whether it's borrowed or whether it's your listing, you click here. Nearby homeowner letter is the #1 tool. Okay. Now, there's a tool here that says seller social media post. And this is actually a really important tool. And most of our clients ignore this. And really what it's saying, it's not for your social media. It's not for your business page social media. We email it to you and tell you to send it to your client. Now, we also tell you, hey, we can put the seller's email in here and we'll send it to them and copy you. So you don't even have to forward it. You just see the message and call your client. Whether you send it to them or you have us send it to them automatically, call your client for 5 seconds, say, I just sent you something. And please copy that and put it on your wall. Right now, this time it says, hey, we've got an open house and you at your office is doing a lot of marketing, expect a great turnout. Please share this or comment if you want to. Right. So yeah, if you click on this, you can probably imagine there's a tool there that's going to capture leads, right? But actually, the more important piece for you is that your client is telling all their friends and family and colleagues on Facebook that you are their realtor. So any leads you capture from this small pool, they're much higher than you just running a random ad, right? Because they're knowing, hey, we just listed our home with Vincent Meza. Hey, we got an open house, or we just sold it. So let's go look at what happens when you flip your property to sold, right? So I got a listing here that was sold, and now my seller's social media, it says our home sold, and we want to recommend you at your office for doing an excellent job. And here's your phone number and email from your profile in front of all my friends and family and colleagues on Facebook to see. So if you change your property to sold, and even if you're a new client and you sold a home a month or two ago, you can manually put in a sold property and still use this tool, right? And you can use a nearby homeowner tool. Now, I do want to say about this particular tool is that it doesn't generate like dozens or hundreds of leads. It generates a few, very rarely. But these are coming from your clients, friends, and family and colleagues. And they can see if that client's been sharing your tools that you are their realtor. And so it's a much higher quality lead, just not as many. But we definitely recommend using the seller social media tool. So there's a nearby homeowner letter. There's an e-flyer for your seller. There's also an e-flyer for your database. This is an e-flyer for your CRM. This home is sold. You can click that photo or that to go to my landing page. And since it's sold, we're going to offer them a free home value. But like the print letter, it says when that home is sold, that will affect your home value. So from the same e-flyer, they can click here or here and land on that free home valuation page. Right. So that's one email talking about a home at any status that's always going to say that affected your home value. So click that there. Do you email these or do you place them as an ad on Facebook? Well, right now, Samson, what I am talking about right here is an e-flyer for your database. So you email these. You go up here, you copy the code, you take it to your CRM, and you paste it in, and then you blast it out, right? When we're talking about the nearby homeowner letter, we're talking about door knocking or mailing, okay? When we're talking about the seller's social media, we email this tool to you, and you should forward it as an email and call your client that second and say, I know you get 100 messages every day, but I just sent you one. Would you copy it and put it on Facebook? Okay. These are the three things to do for your listings to get more listings. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back and look at a property that's sold, because when you're, oh, that was sold. When a property is sold, then you should always run an ad on it. Notice this is what our ad looks like. It says, this property is sold. That's going to affect your home value. Click here to get your free home value. So later stage ads are not designed to get buyers. They're designed to get sellers. So market your homes when they're sold for sure, right? Now, just a little bit about this. It says $50 a month. I'm sorry, $50 for an ad, and it's a 7-day ad. Now, one thing I want to point out to you, let me see if I can go figure this out real quick. You may not know this about Facebook, but buyer leads have a certain price and seller leads are much more expensive. So I'm going to jump over to this presentation that we created because we actually know, yeah, I just want to point this out. Buyer leads on Facebook, and this is from us analyzing the last $500,000 spent through our platform from agents like you, okay? So we've got clients like you running ads every day of the week, spending a lot of money. So we analyze the last $500,000 spent, and we can tell you that the average buyer lead costs $1.86, and the average seller lead costs $5.77. Okay. Now you're still getting thousands of people seeing every ad. You're not paying any referrals for those kinds of leads, you know, when you close those. So these are really kind of good to get familiar with. But that's what the leads kind of typically cost. So when we're running an ad for sellers, we've got a $50 budget, and that's higher because we know that seller leads cost $5.77 anyway. All right. So all you got to do is click create an ad. And for some people, for some realtors, just doing that, just clicking that green button works. But for other realtors, usually in really competitive markets, that doesn't work. And you got to take an extra step, right? So let me show you that extra step. It's called advanced options. And you click it, and this box here that says primary text, you want to add some text. And you know what's going on with low inventory are a number of things, but one is homes sell really fast. So if you can say in contract in 5 days, by all means sell, or say that, right? If you sold above asking, right, say that. And you know, if you got multiple offers,
That's great, right? Because you're telling the market that you can do it fast, that you get top money, and that you have people that want to buy it, right? So it's an incentive for them to get their home value from thinking about it. You might need to punch up your text a little bit and then just click publish, okay? So let's look at this. How do we get a copy of this presentation? You go into the Mastermind Group, which is, I told you how to get in the Mastermind Group, and you will see all my recorded webinars in our Mastermind, okay? So that's how you get that. Yeah. Oh, do you mean this presentation? Yeah. I don't know, but you know what? That's a good question. Yeah. I'm going to send it to you all right. And this is kind of a working doc that Scott and I work with. We take a lot of our ideas and well, they're here. You might want to look at this, right? It's really talking about how do you make $250,000? How do you make 250,000 in your own pocket? And this is live. We're recording this live right now. And when we do this, you're gonna see that we're talking about the 4 areas. Remember, I showed you that pie chart. Like, do you have a link to a recorded version of this call, David? I'm recording it right now. So when this is recorded, this call will be in the Mastermind. And so you'll hear us talk about lead costs, which I was showing you earlier, the types of leads that you need, and and we even talk in this a lot about conversion and depending on where they're coming from, how fast they're likely to convert. Yeah, so David, this recorded webinar will be in our Mastermind group later today. I understand you can't watch this, yeah, but I don't have a recorded webinar link because I am talking live to our clients. So when it's processed, it'll be in the Mastermind group. You can go see the recording there. But this is a good call. It kind of shows all the kinds of tools that we have, which frankly, I'm not going to be able to show you all today. So you really get a handle on a lot of what we're doing. But let's keep going on what we're talking about, which is we need to get listings, okay? And like I showed you, there's a bunch of tools right here on the listing side in marketing a listing that's going to help you get more listings, okay? But then there's Facebook ads. And Facebook is a great way to get leads, but when it comes to home value leads, you really got to be smart about it. And so I'm going to show you not the best way of getting a home value lead, but kind of the worst way. And that's by clicking landing page ad here and running an ad for home values. Now, you may not know this. We've been doing this for 12 years. And I have been training our clients every week. Well, maybe not for 12 years, but probably for 12 years, yeah. But I used to train for years on how to teach agents like you how to run an ad like this for many years. And for a number of reasons, it's not as effective anymore. The biggest reason is because Facebook has been forced to change their targeting because of just some unscrupulous stuff. But the other reason that it doesn't work is agents have been doing this for years and years. And so you've seen these things, they don't really work well. And the lead quality of this kind of ad is pretty low. That being said, every time I say that, some realtor says, hey, I run those ads and I get good leads. So check it out in your market, right? But there are 2 kinds of ads that work really well. So if you go to the ad section and you connect your Facebook, you can run PDF report ads. So we have 25 PDF reports for home sellers, all these topics: divorce and real estate, 12 mistakes to avoid, curb appeal, right? 5 dangers of overpricing, right? If you just choose the topic and you click create an ad, and then you type in the name of the town where you want this to show up, right? And now if people are, responding, they can download the report. Your contact information is on every page of that report. But for them to download it means you're going to get their name, phone number, and email. So you got to kind of get busy on that, right? So that's one thing. run PDF report ads for sellers. There are 25, more than 25. Also, you can run listing ads, and I showed you in the other section, but you can run sold ads from here, right? You just choose your property, it's lead ads. And I do recommend that you leave it on lead ads because that means you're going to get pre-populated name, email, and phone number from Facebook, and that's cool, right? So these are the kinds of ads to run, right? I showed you a sold ad earlier, so you can do it from here. You want to run sold ads, you want to punch up the text a little bit on that ad, and then you want to run PDF report ads, okay? And that's kind of it on the ad section side, okay? And you can also, there are landing pages. I will tell you this. So when you sign up, you get 3 landing pages already made. One that's free home values, one that's down payer assistance, and one for new construction. And you can go to the ads page and run ads on those, right? But you can also create your own landing pages. And if you want more listings, you need to create a custom seller landing page for each town that you want more listings, right? You just click create landing page. And at that point, well, then you've got to go and, you know, customize the landing page, put a picture that's relevant to the neighborhood. But I want you to know that in advanced options is a print letter that has just some high level information about the neighborhood. You have to edit it, you have to add the information. But basically what you want, what we're suggesting that you do is say, hey, the home sales are in for last month. We sold 40 homes in this neighborhood last month, and the high was here, and that affected your home value. So everything else is written. You just need to add a couple of lines about what's going on in the local market. And then again, door knock this or mail list to people with equity. And this is just another really good tool to use to get listings. So I've kind of been going here pretty quickly. Obviously, you can use some of our marketing tools to get listings. You can use Facebook ads to get more listing leads. And you can use landing pages like the one I just showed you to get more listings. Any questions about what I've talked about here? I'm out of coffee. Let's sip of coffee. So that's kind of my story for capturing listing leads, okay? Those tools used consistently will work for you. I want to show you a couple of new things just in case you don't know about them. They're really new and they're pretty valuable. One is this socials tab. You see it says here social. Here, this is like automated social media content. It's not about your listings. It's just about general stuff, right? You can choose your topics here: interior design, kitchen design, floors, creative spaces, right? Outdoors, maintenance, even fun stuff, right? And just whatever inspirational quotes. You can choose as many of these topics you want and tell us how often you want us to mail or post these on your social media. There are companies, great companies out there that charge people a lot of money to do that. This is now just part of our system. It's not talking about your listings, but it's basically good content for your social media, right? On the ads page or on the listings page, I didn't mention this, but this is new technology, so I want you to see this. Please let me know if you have any questions on any topic and I'll answer them. But on the listings page, there's a tab here that says settings, and there's a tab here that says ads. And you can turn that on, and this allows you to automate ads so that you don't even have to run ads. If you're an agent with like 4 or 5 plus listings at a time, I recommend you turn this on so that you don't have to do it. If you're an agent that, sort of thinks like, this is what I got to do, and then you hang up and you forget what you got to do, you might want to turn on automated ads because you really should be running a couple of ads every week, and this will allow you to run ads, right? So you just choose the property that and the status that you want. I'm going to put just listed, an open house, and sold, and I'm going to put a maximum budget of $200, and I'm going to say I don't want more than 3 ads running every week, and you save that. And we will run ads for 1 week long. If it's early stage, like just listed, the ad will be for $35. If it's later stage, like sold, it'll be for 50 bucks. Either way, 7 days long. Okay, so you can set up automated ads right here. There's another new section that says follow-ups. And this is in lieu of a CRM. So you got to ask yourself, one, do you have a CRM? And if the answer is no, turn on follow-ups, because we've got a drip campaign that we're building out, and we're going to make more and more powerful for either seller leads or for buyer leads. Okay, so you don't even need to modify it, but of course you can. But just turn it on, right? So if you don't have a CRM, definitely turn that on. Now, if you do have a CRM and you feel like, oh, it's not really set up right, or it's not really getting my phone ringing, it's just working, I don't really know what it's doing, turn on follow-ups. We're going to make this section right here is going to become very powerful in the this quarter and next quarter. We're doing our best to help you convert leads. That's what we really want to do this year in 2022. If you haven't realized it by now, our company is awesome at capturing leads for our clients. Like, there's honestly not another company that is capturing the volume of leads for the cost. It's just not everybody knows that, right? And you can go in the Mastermind Group and see that story happening all the time. So for us, we feel like, you know what? We know how to help our clients capture leads. Do they have to use the tools to do that? Yes. But we want to focus in 2022 is let's start helping them convert those leads, because it's when you convert the leads that you actually get paid, right? So turn on follow-ups, okay? So I see a question here. It's a good time for questions. Let's see what we got. What does Chris Winstead use to find sellers that have not moved in 5 years or more? Remine, R-E-mine, like a mine shaft. Yeah, and you can do that now. I will tell you, we are working with Express Copy or Express Docs, I think. And so right in the interface, right on the listings page, you're going to be able to choose the area and get the kind of equity that you want and have them stuff the message and send it. So you don't even have to touch it. Where did I go to borrow those listings? Did we get that answer? I think we did. Yeah, we did. Is that, yeah, we got that. Okay. So let's see here. Oh, I think I got more questions. Can I talk on the social tab again? So social is over here, and I kind of think of it a little bit. Do you guys know who Keeping Current Matters is? Keeping Current Matters is a company that you can pay to automatically put content on your social media, right? Because you want people who find your social media to think that you're alive and you take care of your social media. So Keeping Current Matters is kind of cool in that way. Well, that's kind of what this is. You go here. Now the calendar is the calendar, and the calendar will get filled up as you're posting. But you choose your topics of what you want to talk about. It could be design, it could be storage, it could be garages, whatever. It could be inspirational stuff or just outdoor living kind of stuff, right? All these topics you can use, and then you can, oh, what? Sorry, I just totally brain fart there. So you choose your topics, then you click on settings. And settings is how you set the timing. I've got mine set to go out every other day. You can set the frequency and the time and save, and that tells us what way to go. Bianca has a question about what PDF reports have worked best. And actually, we don't know that because the market's different. What we can tell is our clients who are consistently using them, they get great results. And part of it is every time you run an ad, 2,000 to 3,000 people see it. So if you're doing that every week, people start to understand that you are offering value as a realtor to the market. And that's where you want to be known as that person, right? So it almost doesn't matter what title. What matters, are you doing it consistently? We are working on the ability to have this section automated too. So you don't even have to worry. We're just going to sort of cycle through them. So I don't think you really need to think too much about that. It's a good conversation starter. That's what these are, right? They're not, it's not like an in-depth, Dow Jones report or something like that. It's like a high-level talk about topics of real estate, and you being the professional, it gets it out to them, right? And so they start to recognize that you bring value to the space. So use any of them, I think, is really my suggestion. Any other questions? Well, since I don't see any, I'm going to point us out. I'm going to take us back to the mastermind group. And definitely get in here. This call is being recorded, and you can certainly add your questions now, but this call is being recorded. And now what's this? Yeah, this Scott saying somebody's got all kinds of leads, 65 leads. So somebody's doing more ads, running ads and getting leads. But this call will be recorded. I definitely recommend that you get in the mastermind group. It is for our clients. How do I get access to social? It says I'm on the wait list. So if you're on the wait list, like right here is social. If you come here the first time, you kind of join the wait list. And if you wait 24 hours, it'll make it live. And then you'll see this and you click on topics. I think there's a wizard that'll actually help you set it up. But you choose your topics, you choose your settings on your time, and boom, you're good to go, right? And you connect your social media too, right? How do I get act? Yeah, so Vanessa, that's how you do it. Just you're on the wait list, just wait 24 hours, it should be live. Landing pages, bots. Yeah, I think that's really all. The tools I talked about in the beginning half of this hour, they generate a lot of good high quality leads. Doing these things consistently throughout the year is just going to build your brand and get better results from all your tools. Definitely keep running ads on Facebook. Definitely get those letters out. Use the other tools that I mentioned on your CRM. Get the tools in front of your clients, friends and family and colleagues on Facebook. And your business will grow in 2022, I have no doubt. Turn on our follow-ups if you don't have a really strong CRM. If you do, you're awesome. Otherwise, people, thanks so much for joining me today. This is being recorded. It will be on the Mastermind group today. Any other questions? Well then, keep safe. Have a great year. Also, keep an eye on what we're delivering because we're going to be pushing more technology. That's going to be really, really helpful. We're going to automate that nearby homeowner. You should probably take advantage of that, right? Unless you want to do everything manually. Okay, everybody, be cool. Talk to you soon.